Hey everyone, welcome back. In previous video we have discussed priority attribute which is used to execute the test cases in a user defined order. In this video, let's write the actual automation test cases and implement the priority attribute. Before I write the actual automation test case, let me go to my browser and explain the scenario which I am going to automate. Now I am going to write the multiple test cases. First I will write the login test case where I will enter valid username, valid password and click on the login button to log into this application. So that is going to my first test case. Let me close this window. I will click on the never button. So first test case would be for login functionality. Now the second test case would be to click on the leave button and search for a leave. So here I will enter one of the username, let's say John. So that would be the second test case. Now the third test case would be for the logout. So I will click on this icon and click on the logout button. And once user is logged out, then I will write a fourth test case to close this browser. After that, I will execute all these four test cases with the default order of execution so that you can understand why should we customize the order of execution. So let's go to Eclipse and write the script. I will create a new class. So I'll right click on the package testng.demo. I'll click on new and click on class. I will provide the class name orange HRM test cases. You can provide the name whatever you want. Now I will click on the finish button. So let's write the first test case which is login to the application. So I'll write it public void login to application. Open bracket, close bracket and open curly bracket, close curly bracket. I will specify @test annotation here. Now it is asking to add the import statement. So I will select the import statement from TestNG. So this is going to my first test case. After login, I want to search a leave, right? So I will write another test case public void search leave, open bracket, close bracket, open curly bracket, close curly bracket. That is going to my second test case. So I will specify @test annotation here. After searching an employee, I want to log out from the application. So that is going to be the third test case. Public void log out, open bracket, close bracket and open curly bracket, close curly bracket. Let me specify @test annotation here. So once user log out from the application, then I want to close the browser. So let's write a test case for it. Public void close browser. And let me create a method for it. So let me specify @test annotation here as well. So now you can notice I have written 4 test cases. It's time to write the actual automation script, right? In one of the previous video, we have already written a script to log into Orange HRM and search for an employee. So let's copy the script from there. I will open this assert false demo class. So to log in the application, I have to copy the code till the line number 32. So I'll copy it from here. I'll go to the Orange HRM test case and I will paste these lines of code here. So here you can notice these are the 2 lines of code to create the object of Chrome driver class so that Selenium can launch the Google Chrome browser. After that, I'm opening the Orange HRM login page, then entering the username, password and clicking on the login button. So after login to the application, I want to click on this leave button, right? And once the leave button is clicked, I want to enter the employee name. Now let's write the line of code to click on this leave button and enter the employee name. I'll go back to the Eclipse again. We have already written the lines of code for these 2 actions as well. So let's go back to the assert false demo class and copy the line number 36 to click on the leave button, right? So I'll copy it from here, go back to the Orange HRM test case and paste it here. After clicking on the leave button, I have to enter the employee name, right? So let's go back to the assert false demo class and copy the line number 56. So this is the line of code to enter the employee name in text box. I'll copy. We'll go back to the Orange HRM test case and we'll paste here. These are the 2 lines of code for the search test case where the line number 35 will click on the search button and line number 36 will enter the employee name. So here at the line number 35 and 36 you can notice there is an error. So let's see what is this error. Eclipse says the driver cannot be resolved, which means Eclipse is not able to access this driver. Reason behind it, this driver object is created within this particular method, so it is accessible within this method only. To resolve this problem, we need to declare this driver as an instance variable. So let me copy and paste it here. I'll put the semicolon at the end, and from here I will remove the Chrome driver. So what I'm doing, I'm creating the reference at the line number 9 and the object is getting created at the line number 15, right? So since this is an instance variable, it would be accessible in all the methods of this class. And now you can see the error is gone. After searching the employee name, the third test case is to click on the logout button. As of now, we haven't written a line of code to log out from the application. So let's go back to the browser to identify the locator. To log out from this application, first you need to click on this down arrow. Once you click on that, then this logout link is available and you can click on that, right? So we need to automate two steps. First step is to click on this arrow, right? So let's right click on it, click on the inspect so that we can see the HTML code written for this arrow. And here you can notice this is the line of code written for this arrow, right? Where the tag name is A, it contains a ID attribute which value is welcome. So let's use the ID locator to identify this element. I will copy the ID attribute from here. We'll go back to the Eclipse and write a line of code driver dot find element by dot ID. Here I will specify the ID attribute. I want to click on that, so I'll call click method. Once the line number 45 is executed, this logout link would be available on screen. So let's identify the locator for this logout link. I'll right click on it, click on the inspect, and here you can notice tag name for this element is A and its name is logout. Since it is a link, so I can use the link text locator to identify this web element. So let me copy this link name. I'll go back to Eclipse and write a line of code driver dot find element by dot link text. I'm using the link text locator because logout is a link there, right? I will specify the name of that link, which is logout. At the end I want to click on that, so I'll call the click method. So once the line number 46 is executed, Selenium will click on the logout link. Here you need to understand one thing. At the line number 45, Selenium will identify this welcome element and click on that. Once Selenium clicks on the welcome, then the logout link would be available. And here might be the synchronization problem. So in case if the internet is slow or logout link is taking much time to load, then Selenium will not be able to identify this logout link and it will cause the no such element exception. So we have already discussed the synchronization in the previous videos, right? To avoid this problem, we can use the implicit wait. So it is advised you should write the implicit wait here. So I will write a line of code for it, driver dot manage dot timeouts dot implicit wait. Here I will specify the implicit wait duration, which is the 20 seconds, and here I need to specify the time unit. So the time unit is seconds, right? And at the end I'll put the semicolon. So once the line number 48 is executed, then Selenium's default waiting time would be override. So Selenium's default waiting time is a 0 second, right? So instead of waiting for the 0 second, Selenium will wait for the 20 seconds to identify that web element. So once Selenium clicks on the logout link, then I want to close the browser. So let's write a line of code driver dot close, correct? So driver.close will close the browser. So these are the 4 test cases which I have written, right? So here you can notice these 4 test cases are dependent on each other. So let's say to search for a leave, user should be logged into the application, right? So login test case should be executed before search leave test case, correct? And logout also depends on the login. So when I execute these 4 test cases, they should be executed in a logical sequence. So the proper logical sequence is first log into the application, then search for a leave, after that log out, then close the browser. And we have seen by default TestNG executes the test cases in their alphabetical order. So let's execute this test case and see whether the by default order of execution works or not. To execute these test cases, I will right click in the class, run as TestNG test. Now you can see Selenium has started the execution and the browser has been launched. Selenium is opening the login page of Orange HRM application. Selenium entered username, password, clicked on the login button, home page is displayed, and Selenium logged out from the application. Selenium did not search for leave. Now let's go back to the Eclipse and see the execution status. So here you can notice there are total 4 test cases got executed, where the 2 test cases got pass and 2 test cases got fail. Correct? And let's go to the result of running class orange HRM test, where we can find the order in which the test cases are executed. So here you can notice first Selenium executed the close browser test case, where it found a null pointer exception. After that, Selenium executed the login test case which got passed, then log out, and the search test case did not executed. Now we can understand that these test cases did not execute in a logical sequence. So here we will have to use the priority attribute to specify the order of execution, right? So let's implement the priority attribute. First, I want to execute the login test case. So I'll say the priority for the login test case is 1. After login, I want to execute the search leave test case. So I'll specify the priority 2. After search test case, I want to execute the logout test case. I will specify priority 3. At the end, I want to close the browser. So I will specify priority 4, right? So I have specified the priority, which means I have specified the order of execution. So let me save this code and re-execute to see whether Selenium is executing the test cases as per the defined priorities or not. I will right click in the class, run as TestNG test. So now you can see Selenium has launched the Google Chrome browser. First, it should execute the login test case. So here you can notice login test case is executed. Now it should search for a leave. Search test case got executed, then it logged out from the application and browser is closed, right? Here you can notice total run 4 test case, 0 failure, which means all the 4 test cases got executed and passed. Let's go back to this result of running class tab, where we can see the order of execution. So first login test case executed, then search, then log out, then close browser. Now with the help of the priority attribute, I am able to execute the test cases based on my order of execution. So this is how we can use the priority attribute to customize the order of execution. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let's meet in the next video.